What's up, YouTube? Alright, video number 2 for the day while I sit here and wait for a load. Biggest question that a lot of people keep asking me: to lease or not to lease? Is that the big question? I mean, no pun there, but anyways, to lease or not to lease? Well, this kind of goes back with my other lease, my other lease purchase video, but there's been a lot more questions being asked. If you don't have a lot of bills at home, every paycheck you're not desperately waiting on, as a company driver, a lease could be for you. If don't just lease the truck thinking you're going to make a lot more money than you would as a company driver. You can make good money as a company driver. There's company drivers out there that are trainers out of my terminal that are making the same amount as me, if not more. Hell, there's a couple times he's actually made more than me on average. I mean, that's it comes and goes. Leasing wise, you got to think about, you got to pay for your truck fuel, your maintenance, your permits, your plates. It's a lot of stress. If you can't handle it, if you don't know how to manage money, leasing is not for you. If you got a lot of bills, would I say lease? No. Stay as a company driver. Because there's times you might go negative. There might be times you might get a $100 paycheck when you're used to $500 or $600. There's a whole lot of different things there. But if you're not sitting there waiting for your next paycheck, by all means, go ahead and lease. But with that being said, if your credit is good, or you have decent credit, don't lease. Go out, buy a truck at a dealership. So obviously, save up your money, drop $4,000 to $5,000 down on it. Buy your truck, lease onto Landstar, Mercer, Panther, UPS, FedEx, whatever the case may be. Lease purchases are not always the best. You will get screwed. I'm currently getting screwed on my lease purchase. I'm profitable. I'm not backing out of my lease purchase. That is my starter because I have horrible credit. But you're getting screwed. You don't get paid the miles like you should. You don't get paid that rate that you should because you're leasing on with a bigger company that's not going to pay you everything that you deserve for that load. They bid, they're paying you what you deserve because that's what they're paying for. But the companies themselves are profiting, if not more off the load than what you are when you're leased on with them. At least with my experience. There might be companies that you might benefit more. I mean, it's really hard to say. But my suggestion, if you got the money, you got the credit, buy your truck from a dealership, then lease on to wherever you want. Whether it be Swift, Snyder, Knight, Penn, Landstar, Mercer, FedEx, anything like that, lease on to whoever you want. But keep in mind, when you go to these bigger companies, you're going to get the cheaper freight because they want the freight for all their company guys, stuff like that. Now, you go to Landstar, Mercer, stuff like that, I've been checking into, a lot of their loads pay pretty damn good, Granted, I'm struggling right now with my lease. Once the truck's paid off, I'm going to be getting my own authority and moving out on my own. Obviously, that'll mean higher money, more money per mile. But the main factor is if you go out to a dealership and buy a truck and lease it onto, say Night Transportation. Night Transportation, you're not happy with them, you're not making the money that you want. Now, instead of having to turn in the truck or deal with the crap and put up with it, you can easily just take your truck and go over to, say, Swift. Then if they don't treat you right, then you can go over to UPS. Obviously, if they treat you good, stay with them. If they don't, hey, get your own authority, go on your own. There's lots of different scenarios that you can do if you buy your own truck. Whereas if you lease, you're stuck with that company for the 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7-year terms that you might sign up. You know, obviously if you're getting a brand new truck, your lease is going to be 6, 7 years long. You get a used truck, you know, 3, 4 years. But you're stuck with that company. And, you know, like what happened with me. I was halfway through my lease with CRST. I was very profitable. And they said, we need our truck back. You're done. You're fired. Well, at that point, all that money that I just invested in that truck is now gone. Because they want their truck back. Whereas if it was my own truck that I bought at a dealership, and they say something like that, pretty much they're not going to say we need the truck back. But if they fire you, they cancel your lease or whatever, fine and dandy. Take your truck and go somewhere else. So, with that being said, you know, obviously if you can afford your own truck, buy your own truck. If you can afford your own trailer, then you're really set. You know, I mean, but everybody's finances are different, obviously. So with that being said, I mean, if you're going to lease purchases aren't horrible. They're doable, depending on the company that you lease with. Before you lease, one, like I said in my other video, don't have just 6 months experience. Have a year in or so. Make sure this is the job that you want to do, because you're tying up 4 to 6, 7 years, you know, whatever the case may be, that you're going to be paying on that truck. The biggest thing you're going to have to deal with is taxes. Because once you go lease, they don't pull that money out. That's on you. You must now separate your money when you get paid. Separate, you know, I separate 21%. So that way when quarterly taxes come around, I take that money out of the bank. There you go. Have it. But, you know, it's just, make sure you want to be in the industry. Don't, 6 months, oh, I want to be my own boss and I want to make more money and you ain't making shit. You're gonna make what you make as a company driver. Maybe a little bit more some weeks, a little bit less some weeks. There might be. Okay, sorry about that. I got a phone call, got interrupted. But like I was saying, some weeks you're gonna make more. Some weeks you're gonna make less. There might be weeks that you don't make shit. You go negative because you gotta buy tires, or you broke down and you know that mechanic's tow bill and to fix your repair and all that just took out that whole week's paycheck. Or you take a week off and you forget that you still have a truck payment to make. You know, is it good to lease? It can be. It all depends on you, how you run your business. That is the main thing you need to think about. It is a business that you're running now. You got to run it like a business. If you're not making the miles that you need to make, you need to bitch at your DM, your dispatcher, and tell them, hey, you know, we need more miles, we need more money. Because if you ain't making it, that's on you. It's not on your dispatcher. That's all on you. If you're, you know, if your dispatcher can't handle the loads, you know, can't manage it for you, can't get you what you need to switch dispatchers. Plain and simple. I mean, there's a lot to it. I mean, can you make money? Hell yeah, you can. If you do it right, you don't have no problems. You know, there's money to be made out there. Just think, once you get that truck paid off, now it's just like buying one from the truck stop. I mean, not from the truck stop, sorry, from the dealership. Even if you buy one from a dealership, once that truck is paid off, now you're in the real good money making zone. But usually by that time, you got a lot of miles. You're gonna have maintenance problems, which means breakdowns, shit like that. But I mean, it's a good thing to lease. It could be a bad thing to lease. Like I said, it all depends on you. There's a lot of things to look at, you know, as far as leasing. You got your maintenance, you got your permits, you got your plates, you got your fuel, you got your tolls, your scales, you know, and the worst part of it all, you got to pay more taxes because you're making more money. You might make, you know, $120,000 a year. Well, now you're paying taxes on $120,000, where versus before you're paying taxes on $30,000. There's a lot of difference. Now, granted, you do have a lot of tax write-offs. You know, all your fuels write-off, your truck payments are write-offs. Your skills, your hotels, the maintenance, the work that you do, the labor that's getting charged to you. That's all write-off. But you got to make sure you're in it. You know, that you want to do it. It's just like buying a house. You know, you don't make your payment, they're gonna repossess your payment. You know, your house, or foreclose on your house. Or less, buying a car. You know, you don't make your payments on the car, they come and repossess your car. You know, so if you're buying a truck from a dealership, they can repossess your truck if you don't make your payments. You don't make your payments at the company, obviously they're gonna just tell you to kick rocks. You know, drop the truck off at this terminal and see ya. So I mean, it's, you know, it's good, it's bad. It all depends on how you make it. Obviously, you know, your biggest expense is fuel. The slower you go, the more fuel you save. Don't be one of those people that's saying, so if I run 75 constantly to get from here to here, you're making more money. In a way, you can if it's super light loads. But when you're with a company, you're not going to be always hauling super light loads. You know, you're going to have your 40 and 45,000 pound loads that you're going to be hauling. You run 70, 75 with that kind of weight, your fuel mileage is going to be damn near nothing. I mean, you're going to be burning more fuel than money you make. I mean, that's where a lot of people think wrong. Or a lot of, we'll say, company drivers think, oh, once I go lease, I don't have to go 62. I don't have to go 65. Or whatever your company governs their trucks at. You can now run 70, 75, 80, depending on, you know, what you do with the truck. But speed ain't always there. Like I said on my videos before, 58 miles an hour for a heavy load for me is where I run. And that's, you know, anything over 40,000 pounds, 58 miles an hour. Depending on the ground. You know, if I'm on flat ground, oh yeah, 58, 60, right around there. 60 is about my top for that kind of weight. If I got a 30,000 pound load, I might bump it up to 61, 62. Anything under 30, I might run 63, 64. But that's usually about it, unless I'm going home. If I'm going home, my foot's through that floor and I'm doing whatever I can do. You know, which obviously with night, 70 miles an hour. But that's only when I go home. And that's only if it's a short time of going home. If I got, you know, 1,000 miles till I get home, I ain't running 70. Because you got to figure, in a total day of driving, you're 11 hours. If you're running 61 miles an hour versus 65 miles an hour, in that 11 hours, you're only going to get 60 miles farther down the road. That's 1 hour. And for that 1 hour, you might burn, you know, an extra $100 in fuel, $200 in fuel, depending on, you know, how fast you're going. I mean, what the weight is, you know. A lot of people think, you know, hey, I can make more money if I drive faster to get there, you know, deliver that load and hook and book, you know, turn and burn. Light loads, yes. Dropping hooks, yes. But if you really think about it, you ain't saving that much time. You figure at a 2,400 mile trip, I did it just to test it out. I went from Sacramento, California to Atlanta, Georgia. I ran my 55 miles an hour through California all the way down to the southern part, which that was almost a day's drive right there. You know how it is, 8 hours. But once I hit that Arizona line, I was hammered down 70 miles an hour the whole way, 35,000 pounds. Now, with that 35,000 pounds at 70 miles an hour for that 2,400 mile trip, I saved a whopping 3.5 hours of drive time. But I burned up an extra $400 in fuel compared to what I would have made if I just drove 60 miles an hour, or even hell, even 62 miles an hour. In 62, I can average about 6.5 miles to the gallon. That's with my Peterbilt. You know, I mean, 6.5 miles to the gallon, or running 70 and get just under 5. I mean, just under 6 miles, 5.5 to 5.8. You know, it's a lot of money in fuel. I can average. Right now, I average roughly 1,400 miles to a tank, and that's running, you know, 58 to 62, bouncing around, you know, depending on the load. I can average 1,400 miles to a tank. If I run 70, I'm only averaging 1,200 miles to a tank. So that's 200 miles. You know, at 6 miles a gallon. That's, I don't have my calculator out, or I'd do some actual math for you, but that's something you can do to practice, you know. But what I would suggest is, I know this video is kind of getting long now, but if you're going to lease a truck from any company, if you're going to go out and buy a truck for your own, do it this way. If you're with a company, run your company truck like you would your own truck for a month, at least. Preferably about 3 months, if not more. Obviously, more, you know, would be better. Then you get a true idea. You know, keep track of your fuel that you burn. You can do that by using. You can go on the Android store or the Google Play Store. I mean, the App Store on iPhones, iPads, whatever. The new Ram McNally tablet comes factory with the setting. I just haven't done it. I use it on my phone. Download the app called Let's Truck. LETS space TRUCK. Download that app. When you do that app, you'll enter in every time you get fuel, whether it's you're only putting in 50 gallons or you're filling up your truck. It'll ask you for your mileage, the gallons that you put in, and the price per the gallon. That way, as you're running, you can add multiple trucks there. So when you're a company guy, put it as test truck or some shit, you know, whatever you want to name it. And, you know, every time you get fuel, put those numbers in there. That's going to show you your 90-day average, your 60-day average, your 30-day average for your fuel mileage. It's also going to tell you what it's costing you. Hold on one second. It's also going to tell you what it's going to cost you per mile to run. You know, my average right now is, I think it's like 53 cents a mile, something like that. I'd have to pull it up again to see for sure. But I think it's like 53 cents a mile. That's loaded. So, you know, it's costing me 50 cents to run per mile, and I'm getting paid $1.30, $1.40, $1.50, whatever it is. Right there, that means I'm making $1 a mile profit. As long as you maintain your speeds and you're consistent at it. If you're doing 70, 60, 50, 70, 55, you know, heavy load, light load, heavy load, light load, you know, and you're bouncing everything around, and your fuel mileage is doing this, you're not going to be able to keep track of it, you know. You need to be able to keep track of it. Maintain a speed. Even if you're in a company truck, judge it for yourself. Run a week at 65 or 63 or 62, whatever your company's max is for the loads that you're running. The next week, drop that thing down to 58 miles an hour. And I guarantee you, you're going to see fuel mileage from here go to here. Doubt me if I'm wrong, but I guarantee it. I mean, that's your biggest expense is fuel and maintenance. But if you think about it, you run faster speeds, you're putting more wear and tear on that truck. Your tires are getting hotter, your engine's working harder, your transmission's working harder, your rear end's working harder. You keep it nice and slow, keep it cruising. Not only are you saving your motor, you're saving your trans, you're saving your rear end, you're saving your fuel. That's all money. Granted, it sucks at first, going from 65 to 58 or 55 or whatever you might run. It sucks at first. But if you do it for 2 days, your body, your foot, will get naturally used to it. Right now, I can take off from this truck stop no matter what the weight of my load is. My mindset with my foot and me hearing the motor and judging obviously the lines of the road, I don't even have to look at my speedometer anymore. My foot will naturally stop me right around 58 to 60 miles an hour. And I'll just sit there and cruise. Granted, I might bounce around a little bit because I'm not a computer that can keep it dead set because of the roads, hills whatsoever. But my mindset stops me at 58 miles an hour or so, 56, 60. Because I'm used to it. Now, after I've been running 70 for a while, my foot just stays in it because it wants to go faster. It's in my mind. So, I mean, it is hard. It does suck. Slow down. Try it out for a week, and you'll see the difference. But with this video being said, it's getting kind of long, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it off here. If you got any more questions, feel free. Leave me a comment in the comment box. Email me, truckerqa@gmail.com. If you're part of the Noble Knights on Night Transportation's thing, hit me up on Facebook. Shoot me a PM. My name is Jonathan Rhodes. Can't miss me. I got a picture of my truck up there. It's the gray Pete with the green writing and green. Hell, it's a green. I'm the money chaser. That's why it's money green. But hit me up on Facebook. PM me. I'll give you my phone number. I can answer your questions right then and there. Talk to you one-on-one. If we meet up at a yard or whatever, I'll show you what I make. I mean, I'm not afraid to deny it. I'll pull up my stub for you and show you what I make. I mean, that way you would know for sure if you want to do it or not. I don't run that hard. I run about 2,700 miles a week. There's times that I do want to run a little bit more, and then I get on my dispatch and say, hey, let's push it out a little bit more. But at 58 and 60 miles an hour, we have a current owner-operator, or lease operator, it doesn't matter. He's still averaging 3,400 miles a week at 58 miles an hour. So it's not that you need the speed. You need to you need to hammer down to make it. You can make it at 58 miles an hour. But with that being said, like, share, subscribe. If you wanna lease, you need more questions, feel free, hit me up. If you work for Night, we do get a referral bonus. So if you want to lease, you can write my name down on the paperwork. They'll shoot me a little bit of extra money. If you do it, let me know that you do it, and I'll split it with you. Because hey, that way we both make money, or whoever. So with that being said, have fun, be safe, keep the shiny side up. For those of you thinking about being lease operators or owner ops, be profitable in what you do. Get your apps, do your studying, make sure you want to do it, and the biggest thing is be profitable. You don't want to go negative. With that being said, be safe. See you later.